See, in the case of women, when you're this nice and agreeable and you're agreeing with everything they say and you don't really have a strong opinion of your own, women just don't trust you. And here's why. When you're that nice, it comes off like you're only doing that to get something in return. So in other words, you just want access to the box, so you're just being as nice as you possibly can to get there. Which brings me right to my next point. Thus, these beta males are often abused. Women often put them in the friend zone. You'll often see this guy in a group of like 5 girls, and he's the only guy, and he's not sleeping or hooking up with any of the girls in the group. Yeah, that guy's a beta male. Hello world, Prince here, and welcome to my channel, Gentlemen and Scholars, where we discuss dating, style, personal development, and so much more. All right, so for today's topic, we're gonna be going over something a little bit different today. We're gonna be going over the difference between sigma males, beta males, and alpha males. All right, so I'm not gonna lie, I got inspired to do this one today, just watching different videos on YouTube, around similar topics. And it never ceases to amaze me how beta males, they like to take the wheel and make videos on topics like these, saying stuff like, alpha males are easily agitated, they're always angry, things of that nature. So I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and give a comprehensive breakdown on each individual personality type, and we'll go ahead and highlight the traits of each of those. So definitely make sure you stay tuned until the end. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. All right, gentlemen, we have a lot to cover today, so let's go ahead and jump right into the video. All right, so first up on the list, we have alpha males. So what are the traits that really define an alpha male? So first and foremost, alpha males are decisive. So I think it was Andrew Carnegie who said the quote in the book, Think and Grow Rich: leaders are quick to make decisions, but are slow to deviate from them. True alphas lead by example. They're not going to be those guys that are out there asking you to do things that they have no experience with or can't even do themselves. True alphas find beta behavior repulsive, and they will often call them out on their bad behavior. True alphas are also very high integrity people. They don't cheat. They take responsibility for the good and, more importantly, the bad that happens in their lives. And of course, they value their reputation. True alphas experience envy just like everybody else, but are never jealous. The difference is in the way that they interpret these feelings. True alphas experience these feelings of envy, and instead of getting mad or upset, they get inspired. They see, hey, if this person can do it, then I can do it as well. True alphas are respected by many. In their social group, you'll rarely hear anybody talking sideways about them, especially to their face. These are people that just garner respect in their individual social groups and just on the street by strangers. True alphas are, of course, adored by women. They find their behavior absolutely magnetic. Women are literally drawn to these type of men. They literally cannot help it. True alphas have a high level of perseverance. They are very sure of what they want. They are very focused on their purpose, and no matter how many times they get knocked down, they just keep getting up, coming back for more. And probably the most important point here is that true alphas will be successful. For them, it's not a matter of if, it's simply a matter of time. So now that we've touched on the core traits of alpha males, let's go ahead and touch on, the opposite end of the spectrum. And that, of course, is the beta male. Now, beta males, they are notoriously indecisive. You know, you'll go and ask them to hang out and they'll say things like, I'm not sure, or I'll see, or, I'm waiting to hear if so-and-so's coming. It's like, dude, I didn't ask so-and-so, I asked you. You'll find that their opinions are never consistent. You might have a conversation with them and their opinion might change 3 different times in that conversation. You'll also find that these people are very emotional people. They're very easily agitated, often easily offended, and very often very jealous people as well. And here's the thing, when they get in this really emotional state, you can often never reason with them. So it's best to either get away from them, at least for the time being, or get them the heck out your life permanently. And again, these people are completely ruled by their emotion. So they're not risk takers at all in the slightest. They don't have a purpose, or if they do, they just don't have enough courage to go after it like they should be. They are often really nice as well. So nice to the point it's fake. See, in the case of women, when you're this nice and agreeable and you're agreeing with everything they say and you don't really have a strong opinion of your own, women just don't trust you. And here's why. When you're that nice, it comes off like you're only doing that to get something in return. So in other words, you just want access to the box, so you're just being as nice as you possibly can to get there. Which brings me right to my next point. Thus, these beta males are often abused. Women often put them in the friend zone. You'll often see this guy in a group of like 5 girls, and he's the only guy, and he's not sleeping or hooking up with any of the girls in the group. Yeah, that guy's a beta male. And you'll often find that alphas might jokingly make jokes about the beta male just to get him to have the courage to stand up to him. In other words, they're trying to make him better because his behavior is repulsive to them. These are often very sad and very angry, depressed people, simply because they just do not show up in life. They are very, very repulsive to women as well. You'll often hear women saying stuff like, I feel bad for them, things of that nature. And you can often spot them via their posture and the way that they carry themselves as well, i.e. shoulders hunched forward, etc. So hey, if you made it this far, congratulations. You're on your way to becoming a premier gentleman and scholar. So definitely consider taking a look around, liking and subscribing, as it helps the channel to grow. It helps that algorithm. It really does work to facilitate that strong, tight-knit community. But before we moved any further, I did want to take a second to go over these fake alphas as well, which are really closeted betas. But it really makes me think about the YouTube videos that I mentioned in the beginning, where they talk about alphas being angry and easily agitated. These are not real alphas. Let me explain. See, these guys really just mimic alphas, but the difference is that they don't have the way of life or the general mindset at heart. See, these guys are just caricatures. They sort of go over the top. They're really loud. You might find them poking their chest out as well. They might have the angry face to go along with it. You might find them picking fights with others, but it never actually really turns into anything. These guys are often really the most fearful people of them all. These guys are often easily agitated, but more often than not, they're bluffing. They're the type of guy that will get extremely angry and make a huge scene, if a guy comes up to his girl and maybe talks to her or gives her a compliment, things of that nature. Whereas a true alpha, he's gonna be chill about the whole situation. He's gonna take this as an opportunity to test his woman to see how she handles that situation. And at the end of the day, an alpha's gonna have the mindset, hey, I'm the best there is out there, so if you really want to go with him, then be my guest. At the end of the day, he knows at the end of the night, she'll be coming home with him. And as Tony Robbins always says, you know, behind anger is always fear. And trust me, these guys are very fearful. Fearful that one day they'll lose their girl to another guy. Fearful that, you know, their friends will up and leave them. And exactly that is what always eventually happens. And last but not least, let's go over Sigma males, which is who I would define myself as. You know, guys tend to separate Sigma males from alpha males, but for me, in my personal experience, I find that Sigma males are sort of a subsection of alpha males. Kind of like in science, you know, you have science and then microbiology. That kind of applies here. You know, a Sigma male is an alpha male, but an alpha male is not necessarily a Sigma male. And to give an example of this, if you take a room full of 100 people, a woman can typically point out the guy that is the perceived alpha in the room. But the difference is that she might actually point out the Sigma male of the room. You know, Sigma males are great communicators, they're great listeners, and may be a part of several different social groups and not just be committed to one. But really the biggest difference I see is that Sigma males are really happy spending time by themselves and don't necessarily have to be in a group setting to have fun. And plus, when we're alone, this really allows us to get more done as we're more focused than we are when we have, you know, other people around. It really just allows us to focus when we have that alone time. And I find that alphas that are constantly with, you know, their social group, this can really begin to handicap their progress. You know, maybe they're not making, you know, progress to their goals as fast. Whereas a Sigma, you know, he's kind of unaffected if friends are around or not. You know, he's happy to have them if they want to be around, but, you know, if they're ready to go or ready to do something else he's not exactly down with, he'll just rather do his own thing himself. You know, we're also very adaptable to many different environments. You know, I feel like I can be placed in a rougher environment, you know, a corporate environment, you know, really a wide variety of environments and still know how to conduct myself. These guys are really your James Bond types. You know, think Sean Connery, think Idris Elba. You know, James Bond, he gets dropped in different locations all over the world. You know, he always knows how to conduct himself. He's friendly to everybody, making friends as, you know, he goes along in his journey, and also meeting females along the way as well. And I'll end on a brief story that I thought of that really illustrates Sigma characteristics. One time I went on a beach trip with, you know, some of the guys, and you know, a lot of the guys were being sort of indecisive and not really sure what they wanted to do. They spent a lot of time waiting for other people, you know, sort of a large group. But I would often just, you know, go out and do my own thing, and I would meet friends along the way. I was single during the time, so I'll meet different women as well. And then once people started to notice that I would just leave the group, just up and walk away, and they saw all the people that I was meeting and, you know, the interactions that I was having. Now when I would up and leave, a lot of the guys would say like, hey, I'm coming with you, because they wanted to have some of those same experiences. They wanted to talk to girls as well. So in other words, I led by example, and thus through my example, other people wanted to join. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. If you do have any questions for me, definitely feel free to give a shout. Like, definitely subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That is extremely important. And definitely let me know down below, you know, what do you define yourself as? Do you define yourself as a Sigma, an Alpha, a Beta? Hopefully not a Beta, but definitely let me know what you guys think down below. And until next time, gentlemen and scholars.